Hey, I'm Ryan Van, sportbiketrackU.com, and today we're going to install a special clutch mod kit from our friends over at Ninja 400R. This is going to solve the issue with the clutch on the Ninja 400, right? It's going to give it more feel, and it's also going to help prevent the OEM clutch plates from burning up, because the OEM clutch springs, they simply don't squeeze hard enough on the clutch plates. You're a faster rider, you take this bike out there, do a couple of sessions on the track, and it doesn't take long to blow through the clutch. And also, if you've noticed, the lever, the pull on the OEM clutch, it feels like a feather. There's nothing there, and it makes it harder to race start the bike. You just don't have that good feel that you need. The dude who developed this is Jeremy Toy. He's a smart guy, he's a fast rider, great bike builder. If you've watched any of the Moto America rounds, you've probably seen Rocco Landers waxing everybody's ass on that bike built by Jeremy Toy. And we're going to do a few videos installing parts developed directly by Jeremy to help make the Ninja the best possible race bike it can be. Okay, this kit consists of just a few basic parts that can make a really big difference. Over here on the clutch cable side, we're going to install these two washers and this spring. They're going to simply slide over the clutch cable. The larger diameter washer will be towards the jam nut. The one with the smaller diameter hole in the center is going to be over here on the end of the cable. In between them will be sandwiched this spring. Okay, and then we'll get it all dialed in, get ourselves some good clutch feel. And one thing that'll do is it's going to make sure that this lever is pushed all the way back. It's going to hold it all the way back. And also, when you go to squeeze the lever, you have to compress that spring plus the lightweight clutch springs, and it's just going to give you more resistance, more feel. Now, over on the shift side, we have this Delrin bushing that's machined out. And slide over there, and I'll show you what we're going to do here. We're going to remove the OEM shift knuckle and install this between a washer, you can see me rotating that right now, and the back side of the shift knuckle. This is going to do a couple of things. These bikes have shown when crashing, right? If you impact the shift knuckle, say if you bend the shifter into the shift knuckle, that it can create some damage over in this area, right? And you got to pull it apart and fix it. Having this spacer in there is going to help prevent that. Something else it'll also do, a little fringe benefit, is there's quite a bit of slop in that shift shaft. That's going to tighten that up a little bit and improve the feel of the shifter, get you more positive shifting action. Okay, tools we need to do this. I got a couple of 12 millimeter wrenches here for the jam nuts on the clutch cable. Get these broken loose. Slide that boot back. Unthread that all the way. Now let's go up to the clutch perch. Let's go ahead and back off the jam nut. Make sure you have the slots aligned, and let's rotate this in all the way. We need to pull the clutch cable off the clutch lever and out of the perch here. Like so. I'll go back over the other side of the bike. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this pair of needle nose pliers and gently grab the end of that clutch cable. Feed that through like so. Now we're ready to install the two washers as well as the spring. The washer with the larger diameter inner hole is going to slide over this boot. You want to make sure not to damage that protective boot. As part of this project, you could also, if you have the Motion Pro cable lubricator, this would be a great time to lubricate the clutch cable too, just to get the most possible feel from the clutch. Go ahead and slide the spring over like so. The washer with a smaller inner diameter hole, you see it's just big enough to allow the end of the cable to pass through. Once you have all the pieces slid over, let's go ahead and thread the nut on. Just a little ways here, about like that. Slide the washer over. Want to get that boot kind of started on the end of that stud, if we can there. Now let's grab the end of the clutch cable again. Once again, be careful, don't kink it. Now you need to feed it through the slot. Get it lined up like so. Okay, we need to get a little more slack in the cable so I can get it through the adjuster up there at the clutch perch. Pass that through. I'm not going to adjust the cable at the perch right now. Come back down here. And this may take a couple of tries to get it in the right position. Okay, I'm going to start by getting it close to where I remember it being. And this is something for sure, you know, once you ride the bike, you're going to do some fine tuning here. But before we hit the track, we want to have it in a nice starting position. You can see right here, I've got just a little bit of tension on the spring, not a tremendous amount, but a little bit of tension on that spring. Enough now that there's not really any significant free play there, so I think this is where I want to start. Go ahead and tighten up the jam nuts here. Just make sure everything looks good. It's all lined up. Now we'll go up to the clutch perch. Okay, right away when I squeeze the clutch lever, you can feel there's more resistance. There is simply more feel. Before we bring our rider down to see how he feels about the clutch, let's go ahead and put that spacer on the shift knuckle at the shift shaft. Okay, pretty simple install here, right? We're gonna have to remove that sprocket cover, the counter shaft sprocket cover. I've left this on here because we're running a non-O-ring chain, a lot of lube on it. It just really makes a mess if you take that off. So for that reason, we still run this little cover. You may or may not be doing that. This needs to be removed so we can get the pinch bolt, the shift knuckle out. With the setup we have here, with the quick shifter, rear sets, I took the OEM shift knuckle and I ground down the riveted on Heim joint when we did the quick shifter. So mine may look a little bit different than yours, but this is the OEM setup here still. Got a 10 mil wrench. Make sure you pay attention and put this back in the same position. Slide that knuckle off, wiggle it around. This has a smaller diameter hole on one side than the other, and it's not super easy to see that, right? This is a larger side. It's kind of dished out a little bit. This is the smaller side. You want the larger side to go towards the bike. That gives you clearance for that snap ring that's in there, okay? Let's go ahead and slide that over. And you can see how that clears that snap ring. Now I'll pull it off and flip it the other way. And you can clearly see that is not going over the snap ring. So if you have any doubts, just do that. Slide that bad boy over. Let's get this back up into the same position here. Like so. This is the type of mod that I think would be beneficial for a street or a track rider. The reason I say that is the clutch it's just a vulnerable spot on this bike, right? The stock clutch. And also the clutch pull is just so light. You don't have a lot of feel. So installing that spring, even for a street rider, is going to be beneficial. You can see that has reduced some of the slack there, but the real reason for installing this is going to be to help prevent damage here in the event of a crash, okay? It takes up the gap and doesn't allow that to accelerate and push in and damage that area of the bike. It just makes repairs much simpler, especially with youth riders, youth racers. Crashing is going to happen. The last thing you want to do is compound the repairs that you need to make. When we come back, we'll have our rider down here and ask him how he feels about the new clutch pull. All right, we got our Ninja 400 Pilot here now. And now I remember one of the first things when I was putting this together for the racetrack, right, and went to do that first track down, and I was the first one to ride the bike. You stayed on your 300. You have now since ridden this one day.
One day.
We're not going to talk about how you went faster than I did either.
Yep.
Okay.
By 3 seconds.
Yeah, we're not talking about that anymore. Okay. One of the first things he said to me was, you grab the clutch lever because you always got to finger jack everything, don't you?
Yeah.
And you were like, what did you say? The way it was before.
Oh, yeah. It was just so soft and you couldn't feel it. It felt like you'd burn it up in a lap.
Exactly.
Like
and the feel, that makes it hard to launch a bike, doesn't it, when you can't feel what's happening?
Yep.
All right, check it out. What do you think?
It's crazy. Feels just like my R3. It feels not like a lot harder than before. I'm saying like twice, maybe 3 times, maybe 5 times harder than before.
But it just feels right, too.
It's right and just enough.
Just enough.
Perfect amount.
And I think that's going to benefit a street rider or a track rider. Or like, you know, I know you look at it and you're like, dude, that's 2 washers and a spring and some plastic spacer. And you might say, why do I have to pay that for that? Well, why do you have to pay that for that? You're paying for that smart dude, Jeremy Toy, developing all that cool stuff and testing it out there on Rocco Lander's bike while he's whooping everybody's butt in Moto America, right? You're paying for that. You know, and the creativity it takes to have these parts machined and put together in a little package. This is a worthwhile mod, regardless of street or track. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments section of this video, okay? I answer all the YouTube comments myself, and I hope you guys can see that we're putting this video series together, all the stuff we've done, just to help you all get the best results from your projects, just like we do ours.